Exercise 5. Know the vendor-specific limitations. Every operating system has a few limitations. Some are specific to the vendor of the particular OS. These limitations could be related to the incorporation of a particular version of OS into new devices, or it may be related to the support provided by the vendor for the particular OS. So, learning outcomes. After completing this exercise, you will be able to know the vendor specific limitations of an operating system. Then, your devices will be is this exercise contains supporting materials for operating systems. So, know that the vendor specific limitations of operating systems. End of life. The lifespan of an operating system depends solely on its vendor. There is a date where selling the operating system ends, and then there is a deadline for stopping the support for it. Then a vendor decides to stop the support to a particular operating system and asks the users to update and replace it with another OS. The lifespan of the previous OS has ended. The vendor would have stopped incorporating that previous operating system into newly manufactured devices. Long before its termination of service, which is end of life in short, the laptops and desktops, etc., are sold with the newer versions of the operating system. Update limitations. When the end of lifespan is approaching, the vendor decreases the number of updates on the older operating system. The idea is to divert the user to the newer version. When a new version of an operating system is released, it overlaps with the previous version. There are continuous efforts from the vendor to upgrade to the newer version. Users typically do not jump into the newer version immediately. In most cases, the migration to the newer version is slow. When the migration is done from one version of the OS to another, it is called an operating system upgrade. Depending upon the level of updates that need to be rolled out, the vendor can either send a major update such as the service pack or send out individual updates if the level of change is minor. For example, if the desktop interface is being overhauled, the vendor may release a major update. If it is only a bug to be fixed or a security loophole to be covered up, then the vendor may release a specific update. Okay, let's go forward to exercise 6, compatibility concerns between operating systems. Applications usually have compatibility issues with the newer version of an operating system. For example, if you have an application for Windows 7 and need to run it on Windows 10, you might face compatibility issues if the vendor has not released an update for the newer operating system. In this exercise, you will know how to solve the compatibility issues in Windows 10. Learning outcomes. After completing this exercise, you will be able to know about some vendors' compatibility and different vendors' compatibility. Your devices. This exercise contains support materials about operating systems compatibility. Know about some vendor compatibility, different vendor compatibility. An application is designed and written with a target operating system and it is version in mind. For example, vendors would write a Windows 7 application now. They would focus on Windows 10. There are architectural and differences between Windows 7 and Windows 10 and therefore the application must be designed and written for Windows 10. There is a possibility that some older applications may run without any issue on Windows 10. However, the application vendor will generally ask to upgrade the application to the later version. Each version of Windows offers a method to work with the application that were designed for the older version. You can configure compatibility so that the application can work as if it was working in the older version. You can configure this in the application's properties. In if this still does not work, you can run the compatibility troubleshooter to solve this problem, as shown in the screenshot below. So an application designed for the specific operating systems will not run on another operating system from a different vendor. For example, applications running on an Android OS do not run on iOS unless specifically developed to do so. Okay, let's go ahead and the next page. So moving forward on exercise 7, configure time and language settings. Windows operating system contains some general information. This information is related to a few useful things such as time, date, region, language. A user often finds this information necessary while using a computer system. It is possible to set date, time, and choose the region and the language. We will now see some of these settings. Learning outcomes. After completing this exercise, you will be able to configure time, date, region, language settings. Your device says you will be using the following devices in this lab. Please power on this now, which is PLAB Win 10. Okay, so let's go forward this one. Okay, let's just wait this one to load to remember. So task number 1, configure time, date, region, language settings. You need to configure date and time, region, and language settings. While you are installing Windows 10, you can also change these settings later after Windows is installed. In this task, you will be shown how to configure these settings. So step 1, connect to PLAB Win 10 if already not connected. In the search box on the taskbar, type the following text. Okay, let's just go proceed to this one. To PLAB Win 10. And let's just go copy this thing in advance while we are waiting for that to load. Okay, so let's go proceed to the main task. We're gonna go type this and paste it over here, which is the time and date settings. So select date and time settings from the search result. Okay. So step number 2, the settings dialog box is displayed. Notice that the right pane displays the date and time page. Scroll down and select the additional date, time, and regional settings link. Okay, so step 3, the clock and region dialog box is displayed. Select to set the time and date link in the date of the time section. So moving forward to the topic. So we're gonna go click this additional date and time and regional settings. Okay, so let's click date and time. Okay, so next one is step 5. The date and time settings dialog box is displayed. You can change the date and time here. Click cancel to close the date and time settings. Okay, let's go cancel this. So step 6, you are back on the date and time dialog box. Click cancel. Okay, so step 7, you are back on the clock region window. Click the change location link in the regional section. Okay, so let's click this one. So moving forward to step 8, the region dialog box is displayed. From the home location drop down, select United Kingdom, click OK. Okay, so home locations is United Kingdom. Okay, let's go click OK. Okay, so moving forward to step 9, you are back on the clock and region windows. Close this window. Okay, let's go close this one. Okay, step 10, you are now back on the settings window. From the left pane, click region and language. Okay. Okay, so step 11. In the country or region section, click the country or region drop down and select United States. Okay, close the settings window. Okay, moving forward to page 10, exercise 8, configure user account settings. Before we go proceed, let's go X this one. Okay. A user account has a number of features associated with it. Some of these features are listed below. Account's name, account password, account picture, account type. In this exercise, you will learn to configure the user account settings. Learning outcomes after completing this exercise, you will be able to configure a local user account. Configure user account control settings. Your devices. You will be using the following devices in this lab. Please power on this now. Let's go power on PLABDC01. Okay, let's just go find it. Well, PLABDC01. Okay, it's already powered on. The second one is PLAB Win10. Okay, it's already powered on. Windows 10 domain member. Task 1, configure a local user account. The user account can be a local domain base when it is domain based. The user account is created in Active Directory in the Windows environment. It can be configured to log in to one or more systems. A user account can also be configured to remotely connect to one or more devices, more servers through remote access or virtual private network, which is VPN. A local user account, on the other hand, is restricted from or used within the system where it is created. It cannot access resources outside the system. In this task, you will be configuring local user accounts on a Windows 10 system. Then step 1 is ensure PLAB Win10 is already powered on and the desktop is available. Okay, let's just ensure it and go check it. Okay, so we're already on this window. So in the type here to search box, enter control panel. Let's copy it as a shortcut again. Then go paste it. Okay. Okay, select control panel. Okay, so step 2, click user accounts. Okay, let's go. Click it. In step 3, the user accounts page is displayed below user accounts. Click credential manager. Okay. So step 4, the manage your credentials page is displayed. Click Windows credentials. Okay. Moving forward to step number 5, click the add a Windows credential link. Okay, so forward to the topic. Let's go click this one. Okay. Then step 6, type the internet network address as shown below. My PC. Then copy it and paste it. Then type username as follows. PLAB user. Then paste it as to so like the previous one. Type password as follows. Password. Then paste it. Then click OK. Then step 7, from the bottom left pane, click user accounts. Okay, so moving forward, let's click this one. Okay. Step 8, the make changes to your user account page is displayed. Click the manage user accounts link. Okay, step number 9, that user accounts dialog box is displayed. Ensure admin is selected. Click properties. Okay. Okay, step 10, moving forward, the PLAB Win 10 admin properties dialog is displayed. And the full name text box type as following. The type the following name, which is local admin. Then click OK. Okay, so step 11, click to close the user accounts dialog box. Okay, so step 12, you are now on the make changes to your user account page. Keep these windows open. So moving forward to task number 2, configure user accounts control settings. Some programs are potentially harmful. For example, they can make unwanted changes in the system. These programs can be block users, accounts, control prevents, or harmful programs from making the changes to your computer. To configure user accounts control settings, perform the following steps. Step 1. Ensure that you are connected to PLAB Win 10. Okay, let's click it. So we are sure that we are already connected to PLAB Win 10 and on the make changes to your user account page. Click the change user account control settings. Then step 2, the user account control settings dialog box is displayed. Drag the level indicator to always notify. And click OK. Now set the level indicator at the highest level. This means you will receive all possible notifications. Then step 3, you are back on the make changes to your user account page. Then forward to step number 4, click the control panel home link. Okay, on step 5, you are now on adjust your computer settings page. Keep the control panel window open for the next exercise. Okay, let's go move forward to step 11. On page 11, rather. Exercise 9, perform system configuration. System options sections contain information about the system, software, and hardware. Some of the functionalities available are performance-related settings, remote settings, system restore settings. In this exercise, you will work with the system configuration options. Learning outcomes. After completing this exercise, you will be able to configure remote connectivity settings, configure performance settings, configure system protection settings. Your devices. You will be using the following devices in this lab. Please power on this now. Let's power on PLABDC01 Windows Server 2016 Domain Controller. Okay, as you can see, it's already on. Then the next one is PLAB Win 10 Windows 10 Domain Member. Okay, then task 1. Configure remote connectivity settings. The remote settings section has the functionality that is related to a remote desktop connection. A remote desktop connection is useful when a machine needs to be accessed from a distant geographical location. Remote settings are quite useful in corporate environments where systems are managed remotely from a centralized location. To configure remote settings, perform the following steps. Step 1. Ensure that you are connected to PLAB Win 10 and control panel window is open. Click System and Security. Okay. Then step 2, you are now in the System and Security window. Click System. Then step 3, you are now on the View Basic Information about your computer page. From the left pane, click the Remote Settings link. Then step 4, the Remote tab of the System Properties dialog box is displayed. Notice that the Allow Remote Assistant Connections to this computer checkbox is selected. Then click Advance. Then step 5, the Remote Assistant Settings dialog box is displayed. In the Invitation section, select one. And then select the Create Invitations that can only be used from computers running Windows, Vista, or later checkbox. Click OK. Okay, I think we did the right thing. Though, so let's continue to step 6. In the remote desktop section, click Select Users. Okay, so once we're done with that, go on step 7. The remote desktop user's dialog box is displayed. Select practice labs hash Jan.regis and click remove. You are now removing Jan Regis permission to connect it to desktop remotely. Okay, so in this note, you can also provide authentication for a user to remote desktop by clicking the add button. Hmm? Okay, so step 8, click OK to close the remote desktop users dialog box. Okay, so step 9, you are now on the remote tab of the system properties dialog box. Keep the system properties dialog box open. Okay, moving forward to task number 2, configure performance settings. The advanced tab of the performance options has a virtual memory section. This section has a functionality to set the size of the virtual memory. A processor treats the virtual memory as an extension of the RAM. The higher the amount of virtual memory, the higher the number of applications that can be run simultaneously. To configure performance, perform the following steps. Step number 1, ensure that you are connected to PLA Win 10. Okay, let's go click it. And on the system properties dialog box open, click the advanced tab. Okay. In the performance section, click settings. Okay, I think we did that right. Okay, so moving forward to step 2. The performance options dialog box is displayed. Click adjust for the best appearance and click apply. You seem to find the apply button. I can't. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go